degrees downtown. Don't matter. We won anyway. The weatherman, well, 16 degrees. Doesn't stand a chance, really. Thursday, September the 10th. And for those of you that are joining us on Facebook now, and maybe later on YouTube, don't forget to do the sub, the thumb, and the bell thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, absolutely. And glad to have you guys along, because believe me, right now, off the album Artists in Isolation Volume 2, coming out of Rosewood Studios in Chilliwack in British Columbia, we are so lucky to be joined by Luke Vandevert. It is Luke Vandevert, and let me just bring him in here. Good morning, Luke. How are you?
Great. How are you doing, Grant?
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. Now, did I get the name right?
You nailed it, actually. I just did a TV interview this morning where they were really close to botching it. So you nailed it, man. You got chops.
Well, you see, the difference between TV and radio is I've got the perfect face for radio.
You have a great TV face as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, for those that are watching you on Facebook right now, maybe they've got all the filters working and everything like that. You see, I'm only 21, and this is what radio does to people. It really does. Now, let's do this first. Galaxy. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. It is 14 after 10 o'clock, 18 degrees downtown, heading for that, well, it was 16 degrees anyway, but I did predict 20 plus. Barbara was sitting on the fence this morning, my co-host. She couldn't make a decision, went with me in the end, and, well, we're both winners. Again, Barbara wins. She's very cunning. She is. And I'm very, very happy to be joined by Luke Vandevert. Luke, it is an absolute pleasure to meet you, my friend, because when I very first heard this track, I instantly took a liking to it. Now, I met you, and I've got to give props to Rosewood Studios as well. I first was introduced to your music through Sonny Rosa, and of course Marcy as well. Great lady, Marcy. She does a wonderful job. She really, really does. And they pumped this towards me and said, Grant, you've got to have a listen to this. Now, I got to be honest with you, my friend. I took an instant liking to it, and I'm going to ask you how you come to that. But first of all, I want to play this.
Hi, this is Luke Vandevert, and you're listening to my song, Honesty, from Rosewood Studios' Artists in Isolation series, Volume 2, on Galaxy 107 FM.
I love that. I really, really love those stingers. Now, I'm going to say to you, while you're doing those sort of stingers, how would you like to do something like, hi, this is Luke Vandevert, and you're listening to Galaxy 107 FM, something like that, that we could keep you rolling all the time here at Galaxy. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to do that for you.
Nice. Now, I'm going to talk to you about honesty, because that's what we're promoting right now. Off the brand spanking new album, Artists in Isolation Volume 2. You can get it on Spotify, on iTunes, and Bandcamp. Just type it in. Yeah, absolutely. Go and make a purchase. You can't go wrong. Now, 100% of the money's earned off that, by the way, goes to the artist. Doesn't come to us here at Galaxy for promoting the album, and it doesn't go to Rosewood Studios. They've donated their time, their mastering, everything like that, the talent, to be able to give back to these artists that are, well, rather stricken right now by the pandemic. Now, I gather right now, Luke, that you're not doing a heck of a lot of gigs.
That would be a great way to put it. There has just been nothing going on, which has been quite sad. And I've been itching to get to New Zealand one day, and I can't wait for things to be lifted so I can come visit you guys.
Well, we would love to have you down here in New Zealand, and well, we know that you're going to come back for another interview. We've already asked you that. So we're going to talk about that next time around, because believe me, we're kind of crazy down here. I'm going to warn you right away that we like to do a few, out of the box kind of things, and some of them are traditional through the indigenous folks here in New Zealand called the Maori, would you believe? So, it's a challenge of, not only the mind, but how much alcohol you can drink as well.
Sounds like my kind of people.
Nice. Nice. I love that. So, yes, keep in touch with Barbara. She'll set out a time for you to come back and have a full hour's interview. But right now, we're going to be talking about honesty. Now, tell me a little bit about how you met up with Sonny Rosa.
Yeah. So I initially met Sonny. I worked in a part of a music store chain called Long McQuaid up in here in Canada. And Sonny would come in all the time just to talk about gear and getting stuff. That's how we initially connected. And then he had this idea of piecing together a studio that was in conjunction with a film studio. And they asked if I could come in and record some songs. So I brought the song Honesty in. And he found something he really liked in it, which is always kind of reaffirming as a songwriter. You're like, oh, good, he likes it. That's whew. So when we went in the studio to record it, a lot of things kind of got caught in the first one with, the Artist in Isolation Volume 1. And we actually was supposed to go on that one, didn't work. And just with what we wanted to do. He wanted the first one to be a lot more acoustic based, and he felt like maybe the song needs some more instrumentation with it, and I fully agreed. So we put the brakes on it for the time being, and then Volume 2 comes out, we're a part of it. So yeah, I loved it. And Sonny and Marcy are just wonderful people. You've had a chance to get to know them quite well. So.
Yeah, Marcy, we were talking about Sasquatch, Marcy and I, one day, and we're going on holiday just a few weeks ago, and, well, what do you know, I get these photos on Facebook from Marcy with a Galaxy logo on a wooden stool with a Sasquatch carved into it, would you believe, with Galaxy logo sitting on it, and she's giving, Bigfoot a bit of a kiss on the cheek and stuff like that. Absolutely loved it. It's creative. It really, really was. And of course, I love to see our logo everywhere. I really do. And unfortunately, Luke's been subjected to some eye damage. He's been seeing us everywhere lately. So I'm not going to apologise. I really aren't. I'm just going to say, don't adjust your eyes. You're good. You're right.
I'm seeing things properly now, actually.
Yeah, believe me.
The more I have you guys in my life, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you show your friends, the more funny it's going to be in the end. We'll give you a copy of everything, and believe me, we'll transpose this over to YouTube so you can have a copy of that. Barbara will make a movie. Believe me, I've got a voice in my head. I really do. My on-air and production manager, she talks to me, gives me stats and information, stuff like that. Also my wife, by the way. So, yeah, you just figure that one out. She really is the voice in my head. And she lucked out. They'd pay her to do it.
That's beautiful. Wow, she found her calling.
Yeah, she did, yeah. How to annoy him all the time now and give them stats. 62 countries, 94 cities around the world right now joining us with Luke Vandevert. And Luke, I am absolutely fascinated with the song. So tell me something about Honesty.
Oh, I'd love to tell you. So, the song kind of started off out of a conversation I had with a friend, another songwriter in the area of Chilliwack. He came into the store one day, and he's usually a really chipper guy, and he wasn't doing so well. So we just had a conversation, and it turns out him and his wife were going to have a divorce. And we're talking about kind of the importance of how, communication plays a huge part in our relationships with each other, and all those different elements that go into that. And it just started kind of resonating with this idea of, like, how can a songwriter express their hurt in the language that they know? And so, as it, like, on a lyrical side, it just kind of taps into that songwriter language, like, cut the lines with no mercy. When you're writing a song and you have a phrase and you don't like it, you cut that line, and it's like those different elements into that. I'm really happy with how that song came out in the end. In some ways, the best songs write themselves, and I felt like that was one of those. So.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Luke. We love it here at Galaxy. We really, really do. Not just because it's part of Sonny Rosa's and Rosewood Studios deal with the Artist in Isolation Volume 2. Go and check it out. Yeah, do that. But because it's resonating with our on-air audience, and that's what we call them, our on-air audience, rather than fans, rather than, you know, even could be stalkers, some of them, to be very honest with you. Believe me, around the world, I get a lot. I do. So, I don't want to call them that. I'd rather call them on-air audience. And, well, you see, our breakfast show is primarily set together on the amount of requests that have been made to be able to put the whole show together, you know what I mean? Production and all the stats, the statisticians and everything like that, they all get together, and then I come along in the morning and do the easy stuff. I actually play it, you know what I'm saying, in the breakfast show. So no worries there, but you have been climbing our charts here at Galaxy quite steadily since we've been playing this, and believe me, the album was only released September 1, and you're already up into the 1,000+ mark already, if you know what I mean. Now, usually when we're playing a song, it takes about 6 weeks, and you might get up around about 1,1900 requests. This one, September 1, really officially, we've been playing it since then, and you're already at 1,012. You know what I mean?
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, so that's crazy. You
have been resonating with our audience, and I absolutely love this track itself. Now, did you finalise, did you master that through Rosewood Studios? And how did they perceive this particular track? Did they take to it straight away? Because I know Sonny pushed it onto me almost immediately.
I think when we first, when we started having conversations about the song, Sonny was a pretty strong advocate for it. And we did take some time on the production side to try and find out what would be the characteristic. I had sent him, he sent me his mixes, I sent mixes to him, kind of with different ideas, and ultimately, the final mix was just kind of like him just taking the reins on it and making it his own, which is, great for any producer. That's always an exciting thing for the songwriter, because then it's like, okay, I gave them the words and the chords and the melodies, they just did the rest, And so I did record like some of the guitars, some of the guitars, and then he just kind of took a little bit of, involving the instrumentation with it and stuff. It was a really collaborative effort. It was a lot of fun.
Very, very cool. So Luke, right here, joining us live at Galaxy 107 FM is Luke Vandevert himself, and 5,337,000 here is Honesty. How's that, my bro?
That was great. You're very good at what you do, man.
Thank you. I've done it once or twice now.
The godfather of New Zealand radio. I would say the force to be reckoned with in New Zealand radio.
That's why you're the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh, later.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just their way of saying I'm old, mate. It really is.
Oh, man.
But I'm glad you touched on coming to New Zealand, because, my bro, we would love to have you playing here in New Zealand. We really, really would. And as I say to you, my friend is actually doing shows. He's done shows for about 20 years now, so he's an old hand at it. And he wants not only to break into New Zealand, but also Australia. Now, we have a few deals that we do with Australians as well. Not too many, because, the only thing we like about them is their money.
Yeah, I like the honesty. That's awesome.
Look, the Americans and the Canadians have an ice hockey thing going on, a little banter thing. Well, it's the same with us with Australia, and ours is rugby union.
Right, yeah.
Football, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the All Blacks only just lost the championship due to the force of nature, Mother Nature, sent a typhoon to Japan the day we were supposed to do our last match. And then it came down to this points system thing that really just dipped us out. South Africa won it in the end.
Gotcha.
But we were happy with South Africa because it means, again, Australia doesn't get it, and they haven't had any silverware in their cabinet for about 30 plus years.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Nigel from
Anything just to
Perth.
rub it in the face.
Hello, Nigel from Perth.
Yes, my son's friend. He's a Kiwi, so he'd have a laugh.
Oh, good time. Hello, Nigel from Perth. Nice to have you along. Thank you for joining us here at Galaxy 107. Oh, you couldn't have come in at a better time. Well done, my bro.
Yeah.
So the timing on that is fantastic.
Look, here's one for you. I actually have a friend of mine who's a doctor, and his drummer, and believe me, his great band, Doc Yates, if you know what I mean. And I was talking to Doc, and he says, my drummer was actually at a NASCAR race not so long ago, and he was sitting next to a couple, and they introduced themselves. They were Australian, and I went, oh yeah. Okay. Poor bugger. He goes, and he introduced himself. He goes, yes, I'm the drummer from Doc Yates. And this chick turned around and goes, yeah, we know who you are. And he goes, you do? Yeah. We listen to Doc Yates on Galaxy 107 FM in New Zealand.
No worries. Oh, that's fantastic.
He says to me, Grant, you're never going to believe this. I went, oh. And he told, oh, yeah, fine.
It's
That's
true.
fantastic. Aw,
Small
that
world.
sounds so great. It's kind of neat when you get those moments where you kind of have these stories of like, hey, how do you know these things? Well, I heard that person's music, or I heard that radio station. It's kind of like makes your heart a little happy, right?
It does. And as I said before, 62 countries this morning are logged in right now listening to this. Over 5 million people. But we have an average of about 5 million, if you know what I mean. Sometimes it's just under 5, 4.9. Sometimes it's 6, 1, something like that. You know what I mean? So about that average. Anyway.
That's fantastic.
Hi, Tony. You're up late.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. It is bang on 10:30, 17 degrees downtown. It's starting to drop again. A little worried about it. It's too early for that. Thursday, September the 10th. And of course, we're joined live right now by Luke Vandevert coming out of, well, you were Alaskan by birth, is that right?
You got it. Yeah. Originally
Interesting.
from Alaska, and then somehow ended up in BC.
So basically you're an American in a foreign country.
Kind of. I would say I'm more Canadian than I am American. It's like Canada. I mean, Alaska is just weird because why is it up so far away from the States? It's basically Canada or Russia.
Yeah, exactly. It's only the Bering Sea that divides it, really, isn't it?
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be wearing a furry hat and speaking, strange after you've had a few vodkas. I understand. I do. Walking funny with those weird boots on. I get it. Yeah, cuss what? Oh, Cossack. Sorry. Thought you said Cossack. I got my wife hearing on at the moment.
Keeping on the details.
Yeah. She's correcting me straight away. She's going, we're going to have to put an extra one in the jar for that. Luke, it has been an absolute pleasure meeting you. Now, I'm going to ask you straight away, will you come back again? Will you do a full interview with us?
I would love to.
You're
You guys
a
are so
sadist.
wonderful and delight. I would love to come back.
You got a bit of sadism in you, don't you?
Oh, just a little.
I love it, I love it. Don't go anywhere just yet, Luke. We'll have a little chat off here, but in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, off the album, and of course brought to us by Rosewood Studios, coming out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, of course, as Artists in Isolation Volume 2, and of course it's super starring Luke Vandevert. You're right here at Galaxy. Here's Echo and the Bunny Man.